Hi guys, today we will be reading a book, or at least part of a book. It will be the Redstone Handbook. Now, I'm just going to address a few concerns before we start. The book sounds from turning pages will not be heard as well. The thing is, the microphone is here, and I could set it to record behind as well, but it doesn't sound as good as as you'd want it to, and so it just adds more noise, and it's not that relaxing to listen to, in my opinion. So to save you from that, I will just record my voice, and so this video is for the most part just whispering and mouth sounds, I suppose. So if you are hoping for turning pages more than the whispering, then I apologize. Right, let's get started. The first thing to note is this book has 3 sections: Redstone Essentials, Redstone Challenges, and Community Creations. I might do a 3-part series reading all of these, but for today we're just going to cover Redstone Essentials. I am half English, half Norwegian, so my English and the reading isn't going to be the best. I might mess up, I might read it wrong, so I'm sorry. Right, so there's an introduction first of all. An introduction to the electrifying world of Redstone. Whether you're playing in survival or creative mode, Redstone is an amazing substance that will open up the immense possibilities of Minecraft. It will enhance your gameplay by teaching you how to connect and control the blocks that make up the world. Redstone dust and torches were first introduced in Alpha. Repeaters were introduced in the official Redstone release Alpha in 1.3.1, when it also became possible to obtain redstone by trading with villagers. Witches, who sometimes drop redstone, were introduced in Alpha 1.4.2, followed by pistons in Alpha 1.7. Version 1.5, aka the Redstone update, was released in March 2013. Since its arrival, a huge redstone community has developed, building and sharing creations as diverse as arcade-style games, intricate traps, calculators, and even computers. The first section of this handbook gets you up to speed on the basics of redstone. The second section pushes you to use your new redstone knowledge to complete challenges, and the final section showcases some of the awesome community creations that are out there and gives a little insight into how they work. So let's get wired up and go create. Redstone Essentials. Redstone ore. Redstone ore is the raw, mineable block from which you get redstone dust. When mined in the PC Mac edition, with an iron, gold, or diamond pickaxe, each block of redstone ore will drop 4 or 5 pieces of redstone. Where to find it? Redstone ore is found deep underground, within 1 to 16 blocks of the bedrock layer. Time to get mining then. Just remember the number 1 rule of Minecraft: never dig straight down. If you're playing in creative mode, then you'll have an infinite supply of redstone at your fingertips. If you're playing in survival, the easiest way to get system that leads deep underground. This will save you digging your way by hand and should lead you straight to a nice supply of redstone ore. Enchanting your tools. When mined with an enchanted fortune pickaxe, a block of redstone ore will drop up to 8 pieces of redstone dust. You can enchant your tools on an enchantment table. To craft a table, you'll need 4 blocks of obsidian, 2 diamond gems, and 1 buck. This is an expensive investment, but an enchanted fortune pickaxe will pay for itself many times over when you start mining redstone, diamond, and emerald. And it's got it's got small sections here. So, enchantment table recipe, and it shows you the recipe. Right there. Can be used to enchant tools, weapons, and armor in the safety of your own home. And then it says, did you know a block of redstone can be used as a power source? See pages 16 to 17 to find out more. And then it shows here the redstone block recipe. I think I'll not show so much because there's going to be a lot in this book to show, and it's a little bit of a clumsy setup, which I might improve in the next parts of the series. We'll see. But it says a redstone block can be crafted from 9 pieces of redstone dust. And that goes for most blocks, I think. It's been a while since I've paid. Redstone dust. Redstone dust is really powerful stuff and is essential to almost all redstone circuits. Take some time to get to grips with it now, and you'll be glad you did later. Within a circuit, redstone dust acts like wire. It carries a redstone signal from a power source to another redstone item, such as a repeater, a piston, or a door. Using redstone dust, you'll need to place the dust on top of a block, not on the sides or the bottom. Placing several pieces of dust next to each other will create a wire. Simple. And it says, tip, remember, redstone dust can't help you until you've given it a power source. Properties of redstone dust. Redstone dust is pretty clever. You can run it up and downhill to create a wire without connection breaking. Just remember that it can't travel vertically more than 1 block at a time. But clever as it is, the dust still needs to be told what to do. You need to direct it into the item you want it to power. Simply placing an item, e.g. a piston, next to a wire and giving it power won't do the trick. By the end of the wire must be pointed at the item you're trying to power. When the dust receives a signal from a power source, it can send that signal at a maximum distance of 15 blocks before it runs out of strength. At that point, you can place a repeater at the end of the wire to make this signal last for another 15 blocks. Turn to page 13 to learn about repeaters. Redstone torch. You'll want to familiarize yourself with this handy item. A redstone torch has several uses, and amongst other things can act as a power source in a redstone circuit. How a redstone torch works. redstone comparators and activator rails. That was a weirdly formulated sentence. Redstone torches have a 1 tick, 0.1 second delay when they are switched on or off. When used in long chains, they can cause a few seconds delay, which you should factor into your calculations. And then it shows a redstone torch recipe, which is just planting a piece of redstone dust on top of a stick. Tip: redstone torches have a light level of 7, which is half the light output of a regular torch. They won't melt ice or snow, and don't try using them as mob spawning deterrent, or you'll be in for a nasty surprise. Did you know a tick is an amount of time, and in redstone terms it refers to the time it takes the signal to travel from the power source to the object you're trying to power? A 1 tick delay is 0.1 seconds, a 2 tick delay is 0.2 seconds, and so on. Redstone repeaters. A redstone repeater is a very useful item. Once you've wired it up, the possibilities are endless. And it shows how to craft a redstone repeater. 3 stone blocks along the bottom, and then above the 2 end pieces of rock, if you can understand, is 2 redstone torches, and then a piece of redstone dust in the middle on top. It's hard to explain. How a repeater works. A repeater will accept a signal at the back and then push it out of the front with renewed signal strength. For reference, the back of the repeater is the side closest to you when you place it. A repeater has several functions, but the 2 most important are: 1. To increase the distance a redstone dust wire can send a signal. When added to a circuit, the repeater takes a signal of any strength and refreshes it so that it can be repeated at full power, hence its name. And 2. To create a delay between receiving the signal and outputting the signal. This is the most important function, as the delay is critical to complicated machinery that requires specific timings to work correctly, such as a piston door. The maximum delay that can be created by a repeater is 0.4 seconds, but you can use several repeaters to create longer delays. By default, the repeater delay is set to 1 tick, but it can be changed to 2, 3, or 4 ticks by hitting the Use Item button when the repeater is in place. You'll notice the torch moves along each time you hit it, signaling that you've changed the tick. Piston. Pistons may just be the most revolutionary addition to redstone because they allow redstone circuits to physically move blocks around you. When given power, a piston can push the blocks in front of it. And it shows the piston recipe. You can craft a piston using wooden planks, cobblestone, and iron ingot, and redstone dust. Did you know? 1 piston alone can push up to 12 blocks at a time, and it can push them in any direction. And it shows a picture of 5 pistons, each pushing 12 blocks in every direction, except for down. So it creates this kind of weird shape. I guess I can show that, because it looks kind of interesting. Sticky piston. Sticky pistons are often more useful than regular pistons. They can pull a block backwards as well as pushing it forwards. When a sticky piston receives power, it will push a block forwards, and when it stops receiving power, it will pull the block backwards. Sticky pistons, it shows a picture of sticky pistons powered by levers, pulling and pushing blocks. And it shows the sticky piston recipe, which is a piston with a piece of, or it's like a slime ball. And it says, when killed, big slimes divide into smaller slimes, and small slimes divide into tiny slimes. It's only the tiny slimes that'll drop the slime balls. Power sources. Torches aren't the only source available to you. There are several other interesting ways to power a circuit. This table shows the different options for powering up redstone. So there is a redstone torch, there's a redstone block, there's button, levers, pressure plates, tripwire hooks, which I've never seen, detector rails, trapped chests, and daylight sensors. Loads of these things I've never even heard of. What power sources do? Power sources provide a redstone signal to other redstone items like redstone dust, pistons, and TNT. And it shows a picture of a lever providing redstone signal to a piston, so it's lifting it up. Using power sources. With the exception of the redstone blocked, trapped chest, and daylight sensors, a power source needs to be attached to a regular block before it can work. The power source will then send out a signal for one block in all directions except diagonally. The easiest way to use a power source is to place it next to the item you want to power, since all power sources send power to the blocks next to them. Buttons, levers, pressure plates, tripwire hooks, and detector rails also power the block to which they are attached, and anything that is next to the block. Turning power sources on and off. A lever can be toggled on and off, allowing you much more control over circuits and machines. The only power source that can't be turned off is a redstone block. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. Sending your redstone signal into specific direction. As you now know, a power source sends out a signal in all directions except diagonally. However, if the power source is next to redstone dust or repeater, you can use those items to direct it wherever you want it to go. Power sources continued. We've looked at a few power sources already, but here are some additional power source recipes that will come in handy for the upcoming challenges. And it shows you how to make a wooden button, a stone button, wooden pressure plate, stone pressure plate, weighted pressure plate, lever, tripwire hook. Yeah, that's what it shows you to make. Lighting systems. You wouldn't think twice about switching on a light in your own home, but in Minecraft even that simple action requires a redstone circuit, and creating that circuit is up to you. Tip: we suggest that you try out the challenges in this section of the book in creative mode while you get used to working with redstone. That way you'll have access to all the materials you'll need. And it shows you how to create a redstone lamp. You can craft a redstone lamp using redstone dust and a glowstone. Redstone lamp lighting system. The basic idea. You can create a basic redstone lighting system using redstone dust, a lever, and a handful of redstone lamps. Let's create one for this simple log cabin. During the day, the log cabin is lit by natural light coming in through the windows. But when the darkness falls, monsters spawn inside, causing no end of trouble. To solve the problem, you need to find a way to keep the inside of the cabin lit at night. Instead of lighting it with regular torches, you can use redstone to create a more sophisticated lighting system. By placing a strip of redstone lamps in the ceiling and connecting them to a lever, you can create a light switch that can be switched on and off as you desire, depending on the time of day. Simply connect the redstone lamps together by running redstone dust along the top of them, and then run that dust to the block that your lever is attached to. This is a fairly basic redstone circuit. A power source, like a lever, powering another object, like a redstone lamp, from a distance using redstone dust to carry the signal between the two items. Lighting systems continued. Now that you've got to grips with the principles of a basic circuit, it's not a great leap to increase its usefulness by adding some extra features. Ready? Redstone lamp lighting system with sensors. By replacing the lever in your redstone lighting circuit with a daylight sensor block, you can make your lighting system come on automatically when it's dark and turn it off when the sun rises. Clever, eh? And it shows the recipe for a daylight sensor. Using glass, nether quartz, which I have no idea what are, and wood slabs. Did you know a logic circuit uses a certain combination of inputs to produce a specific output, and can be used when you need something a little more complicated than a simple on-off function? A NOT gate is a type of logic circuit that changes the output of an item so that it has the opposite effect. This can come in handy in redstone circuits, as you're about to see. And it shows pictures 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1. Clear a 4x1 opening on your roof. Fill that space with redstone lamps. Then place a daylight sensor next to the lamps with a 1 block space between them. This picture shows the ideal placement. And it shows a picture of it. Place a block 1 space away from the sensor and put a redstone torch on the side closest to the redstone lamp. This is your NOT gate. Finally, lay down redstone dust between the block and the sensor. To complete the circuit, run redstone dust along the top of the lamps. Also, the torch isn't directly next to the redstone, it still counts as an entire block, so the circuit is complete. Oh, yeah. It's actually although the torch isn't directly. Okay. I read that wrong. Usually a daylight sensor emits a signal if it's light. The effect of the sensor has now been changed by the NOT gate so that it emits a signal when it's dark, powering the circuit and switching on the lamps. And it shows a picture of a beautifully illuminated home and not one switch in sight. Piston doors. Piston doors are a very popular redstone contraption that open as if by magic. And constructing one is a great way to learn about the vital elements of redstone. Tip: bear in mind that when you place a sticky piston, its sticky side will be facing towards you. Did you know that you can't place blocks directly on top of redstone dust, but you can place them one block higher? Build a 3x3 block arch with a 2-block empty space in the center for the doorway. Then place 2 sticky pistons to the right of the door, facing inwards, and place 2 blocks in front of them. Redstone creators often use different colored wool blocks to signal different parts of their circuits. The different colored wool blocks make it easier to see how the circuits are created, so we have used this method throughout the book. Dig down 2 blocks behind the pistons. Place a block of blue wool in the hole and a redstone torch on top of it to create your NOT gate. Place another block on top of the torch, then place redstone dust on the top. This dust will be enough to power both the pistons. That's the door finished. Dig a 2-block deep trench running through the blue wool. No, running round from the blue wool block to the front of the door. Run redstone dust along the bottom of the trench right up to the door. This will allow you to connect a pressure plate to the pistons. Piston doors continued. Fill in the top layer of your trench with blocks of your choice and place a pressure plate in the doorway so the door can be triggered open. Because of the NOT gate, the pressure plate causes the pistons to open the door instead of closing it, which is far more useful. To make your door open from either side, dig another identical trench from the back of the door to the pistons and place another pressure plate inside. Now hide your circuitry with extra blocks. Warning: a piston door activated by a pressure plate can be a great way to welcome guests in your home, but don't forget that pressure plates can be activated by foes as well. Is that a zombie in the living room? Uh-oh, zombies. It's a very childish book, but what do you expect? Minecart stations. Before the introduction of horses, minecarts were the only way to travel in style, and they are still a popular mode of transport. You can use redstone circuits to make minecarts even more exciting. Basic minecart station. You will need powered rails and a track switcher to create the basic minecart station. The powered rails get the minecart moving fast, and the track switcher allows you to select your destination. And it shows a minecart recipe. Just 5 blocks of iron in like a bowl shape. It shows the recipe for a piece of rail, or 16 pieces of rail, and it shows powered rail recipe. And then it has different steps. 1. Create an L shape of blocks in a large open space. It should be 2 blocks high, 3 blocks down, and 5 blocks across. 2. Build a 1 block high T shape in the middle of your L shape, then add a 2 block high pillar next to that. Place a lever on the far left on the bottom block. 3. Place a button on the 2 block high pillar. You'll be able to reach this from your minecart. Now build a T-junction, and it says in brackets, a junction's where the 2 tracks meet, by replacing 3 powered rails followed by 4 regular rails. Add stairs leading up to your rails. 4. Dig a trench 1 block below the main curved track. Dig 1 more block down and fill that space with light blue wool blocks as shown above. Then add 1 more blue block on top as shown. Finally, run some redstone from behind the lever to the last blue block. Did you know at top speed minecarts can move at about 8 miles an hour? They will move further if they are carrying someone or something. Minecart stations continued. 5. Dig a 1 block deep trench underneath the junction so you can get to the wool block. Now place a redstone torch on the side of the wool block facing the junction. This torch will act as your signal for switching tracks. Fill in the trench and complete your track so that it has 2 destinations. When you pull your lever, your junction will switch position. Now the fun can begin. Set down your minecart on the rails and get in. Push the button and you're away. Tip: when you run over a powered rail that is switched off, a frictional force is applied, which is usually enough to stop your minecart. You can use powered rails that are switched off to create more stations along your track. And it's got a picture of an advanced minecart station. One day, with a bit of practice, an advanced station like this could be yours. It has several interesting features: multiple destination selection, selection lights, selection sounds, separate arrival and departure tracks, and a minecart dispenser. The concept is similar to the basic station, that it uses a power source to switch the T-junctions and select the destination station. But it uses a different button system to allow you to pick up your destination, or to pick your destination. Sorry for that messy reading. Pulse shortener. The pulse shortener, or monostable circuit, is one of the most important logic gates used in complex redstone machines. It allows you to keep something switched on for a certain amount of time. Did you know reset of a power source is just 0.1 seconds. This is deliberately short so that it can be used to combine, so that it can be combined with a sticky piston to create a toggle flip-flop. A pulse shortener is the starting point for many redstone creations. You can use it to control how long a door stays open, or how many arrows are fired from a dispenser. Powered trapdoor. This example shows a pulse shortener in use with a trapdoor. The circuit is toggled on so that the trapdoor is shut. Then when something walks over it, you can flip the switch and the trapdoor will flip open quickly. Gotcha. Dig a 2-block wide hole and fill it with light green wool. Then place 2 repeaters facing away from the wool. Set the left repeater to 4 ticks by hitting the use item button, and leave the right one set to 1 tick. Place a sticky piston next to the 4-tick repeater facing right and attach a block of blue wool to it as shown. These pictures are in steps, by the way. So the second step is dig a hole next to the blue wool block and place another blue block in the hole. Place a lever next to the green circuit. Place redstone dust as shown in the image. The circuit in this example is connected to a trapdoor with a hole beneath, but the choice of mechanism is up to you. 3. When you pull the lever back to activate the circuit, the trapdoor will open for a short period of time. The exact time will depend on the number of ticks set. Then the piston pushes the blue block out. The circuit will be broken and the trapdoor will close again. In this example, the trapdoor opens and shuts quickly. If you add more repeaters on the back row, you can keep it going for longer. Open for longer, rather. Trapdoor recipe, and it's just 6 wooden planks or blocks, but it says planks, but they are blocks. Toggle flip-flop. No, not that kind of flip-flop. The toggle flip-flop is another important circuit. It provides a redstone signal that can be toggled off and on and off. A toggle flip-flop is especially useful when you want to use a button instead of a lever to activate mechanisms like doors. The example below uses a sticky piston T flip-flop design. What a mouthful. The signal arrives into the circuit, then the flip-flop circuit toggles its output on. If you send another signal to the circuit, it will toggle its output off. So step 1. Create a circuit of 2 green wool blocks placed 1 block apart from each other. Place a sticky piston facing upwards in the middle of the wool blocks. Step 2. Place another wool block on top of the piston. Then place a redstone dust on the left and a repeater facing away from the middle on the block to the right. Step 3. Place a sticky piston facing right next to the repeater 1 block up. You'll need to place a block below first, then destroy it. sticky piston on the right will push out the redstone block, powering your redstone wire. Press it again, and the piston will pull the block back, disconnecting the circuit. This is a toggle flip-flop being used to power a piston door as featured on pages 24 and 25. The flip-flop powers the circuit when it is turned on, and because it toggles, you don't have to dash through before it slams shut in your face. Clock circuits. Clock circuits are used to create pulsing signals for a variety of machines, from alarms to arrow launches. It might not sound like the most exciting tool, but it is the starting point for creating some really cool stuff. Redstone torch 3 clock. A torch clock is a series of redstone torches strung together that continually turn one another off. The result is a pulsing output signal that switches on and off repeatedly. This example is called a 3 clock because there are 3 on and 3 off ticks between each pulse. You can make clocks with more torches, but you must always use an odd number of torches in the loop to allow each torch to turn the next torch off before it is turned off itself. If you use an even number of torches, half the torches will permanently be switched on, and the other half permanently off. Not very useful. Step 1. Find an open space and build this light green wool circuit. The circuit is made up of 2 blocks with a 2-block trench between them, with 2 blocks filling the trench. Step 2. Repeat step 1 to create another green line as shown above. Add redstone torches and then add a trench of blue blocks to join up the green circuits. Link the torches together with redstone dust. And before the next step here it says, from basic 3 clock to arrow dispenser. You now have built a basic 3 clock. The next steps show you how you can use this circuit to make an arrow dispenser, which is a super cool and useful weapon. And it shows the recipe for dispenser. Step 3. Place a block next to the corner of the blue circuit, then a dispenser on the top. Put redstone dust on top of the dispenser. Now place another single block next to the dispenser with redstone dust on top to link the circuit. Tip: as with the sticky piston, when you place a dispenser it will be facing towards you. Make sure you're facing in the opposite direction of the way you want it to dispense. Put a lever, step 4. Put a lever on the side of one of the blue blocks to turn the circuit on and off. Fill the dispenser with arrows, hit the lever and let them fly. Players of the PC/Mac edition will discover that it isn't possible to put redstone on a dispenser simply by right-clicking on it, as this will open the dispenser. Hold down Shift as you right-click to place redstone dust. Remember, this won't work if you're flying. Clock circuits continued. Repeater clock. passing a signal around in a constant loop to prevent the repeaters simply powering each other on. It is started. Wow, this sentence. It is started by a one-tick signal from a pulse shortener, which ensures the repeaters are only on for one tick before turning off again. They pass the signal around in a loop while continually turning on and off, which means your arrow dispenser will now pack some serious firepower. Enemies beware. Step 1. Find a clear space and place 4 blue blocks in a square, with another block on the side. This last block will be the extension that you need for looping. Step 2. Place 2 repeaters on top of the blue wall facing in different directions and line a redstone on top of repeater. Now add the green circuit above the repeater facing left, a sticky piston facing up with a block on top, and finally a block with redstone on top next to that. Step 3. To add the toggle, create the floating pink circuit next to the highest green block. Place a sticky piston facing left towards the repeaters. A block on the back with a lever on top and a block in front. Step 4. Add a staircase of blocks in front of the 2 repeaters. Place a dispenser on top and add redstone dust as before. This completes the circuit. Add plenty of arrows to your dispenser. Pull the lever and place the arrows. And the arrows will shoot out incredibly fast. This one is guaranteed to scare your enemies away. And that's the end of this section. So, I hope you enjoyed, and if you're asleep now, well, when you wake up, please like or dislike, and if you have any suggestions, you can put it in the comments section. A huge thank you to the people who've subscribed to me so far, and I will be coming out with the next parts of this series soonish. I guess there might be other videos before that, but soon enough anyway, especially if people like it. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you